Through this memorial Mass, we join with the multitude gathered at St. Peter's Square in Rome at this time to bid our final farewell to our dear Holy Father, Pope Francis, albeit we do so from a distance. We commend his dear soul to the loving mercy of God, to whose service he had dedicated his whole life. We give thanks to God for the shining example he has given us of being faithful to the gospel values, especially love for the poorest and most marginalized. This memorial Mass is an occasion and an invitation to us to recall and indeed celebrate an important aspect of the Christian faith we live by. Our faith professes that our individual lives take place and are situated within the context of a bigger picture, a bigger story, which encompasses both the visible and the invisible. Our individual lives are part of a process that continues beyond our physical death. As we live our lives in this world, we do so waiting and anticipating the coming of the realization of the divine plan of our God, when God will be all in all, as the Apostle Paul says. The reading from the book of Revelation gives expression to this hope that we live by. Using common biblical imagery, it speaks of a new heaven and a new earth that John saw in his vision. It speaks of the new Jerusalem coming down from God out of heaven, as beautiful as a bride, all dressed for her husband. It further describes this as a situation in which God lives among people, making his home among them, and his name being God with them. Our life in this world, therefore, is a journey that is meant to culminate in the experience of being fully united with God, our Creator. And as John says and reminds us, while we do not know what we shall be, we know that we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. We are consoled also by our faith, which assures us that, as the first preface for the dead we shall hear recited, later joyfully proclaims, for those who believe in the resurrection of Christ, life is changed, not ended. And when this earthly dwelling turns into dust, an eternal dwelling is made ready for them in heaven. Indeed, the promise made of old through the prophet Isaiah has been fulfilled. On this mountain, he had said, the Lord of hosts will destroy death forever. He will remove the mourning veil covering all peoples, and the shroud enwrapping all nations, and will wipe away the tears from every cheek. This promise was fulfilled when the appointed time had come. For on the hill of Golgotha, Jesus the Christ destroyed death forever. He destroyed death by embracing the cruel and gruesome death of the crucifixion and emerging out of it victorious through his glorious resurrection. He showed us that far from being signaling the end of all, death is in fact a transition into another form of existence, the form of resurrected life. Finally, as we let go of our dear Holy Father, Pope Francis, we take comfort from the knowledge that his death found him standing ready. He fulfilled his ministry of shepherding the church right to the very end of his life. He was like the servants whom the master finds awake when he comes, ready to open the door as soon as he comes and knocks. Pope Francis did not allow the serious illness he was experiencing towards the end of his life to prevent him from being fully present to his task of leading the church and of strengthening his brothers and sisters in faith. His final appearance at the St. Peter's Square on Sunday was his imparting of the Urbi et Orbi blessing, the special apostolic blessing given by the Pope on solemn occasions like Easter. His final act, therefore, was to bless the flock entrusted to him and to bless the whole world. We thank God for the life of Pope Francis and for the unique impact his pontificate has had on the Church. In particular, his unwavering commitment to show the loving and merciful face of God, especially to those most in need of experiencing God's loving touch, the poorest, the most vulnerable, and the marginalized, has given a new impetus to the mission of the Church in our time. His call for the Church to become more synodal in its way of being and acting is sure to bring about the renewal that the Church urgently needs in our time. His parting gift to us, as it were, is the Jubilee Year of Hope, which he declared for this year, 2025. In so doing, Pope Francis has reminded us of the importance of hope in our lives as Christian believers, a hope that does not disappoint, founded as it is on our faith in the resurrection of Jesus Christ, which we celebrate in a special way during this Easter season. May the happy memory of our dear Holy Father, Pope Francis, ever remain alive in us. May the example of his life continue to be a model that motivates us to stand ready, and that is to do our best, whatever our place in life, wherever we stand, whatever our limits, whatever our shortcomings, and trust that this is enough. That if we die at our post, honest, doing our duty, God will do the rest. Standing ready means to bloom where we are planted, to contribute toward making the world a better place for our presence in the little corner of the world where life has planted us. Pope Francis has been a shining example of that. He bloomed where he was planted, and the world is a better place for the contribution he has made. May the soul of our dear Holy Father Pope Francis and the souls of all the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace. Amen.